right, this is Chapter 4, Lesson 2, Compare and Order Rational Numbers. So we have a couple of terms that we need to look at. Blank, blank, a common multiple of the denominators of two or more fractions. So in that blank, you're going to write common denominator. So a common denominator is a common multiple of the denominators of two or more fractions. So something that they have that's similar. Okay? Blank, 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 blank is the least common multiple of the denominators. In those blanks, you're going to write least common denominator. Or LCD. Okay, so the LCD, or least common denominator, is the least common multiple of the denominators. And blank blank, a number that can be expressed as a ratio of two integers written as a fraction, where 7 and the denominator is not 0. Where the denominator is not 0. Okay, and then that number you're going to write rational number. So a rational number is a number that can be expressed as a ratio of two integers written as a fraction, where the denominator is not 0. All right, let's take a look at a couple of examples. So the first example I have is fill in the circle with less than, greater than, or equal to make negative 1 and 5/6 and negative 1 and 1/6 a true sentence. Graph each rational number on a number line. Mark off equal-sized increments of 1/6 between negative 2 and negative 1. Okay, so here's negative 2, and here's negative 1. Okay, so I have 5/6 and 1/6. So I have negative 1 and 1/6, negative 1 and 2/6, negative 1 and 3/6, negative 1 and 4/6, negative 1 and 5/6. Remember, as they go towards the left, they get bigger negative numbers. Okay? So here's negative 1 and 1/6, and here's negative 1 and 5/6. So we can see that negative 1 and 1/6 is bigger. It's closer to 0. So negative 1 and 5/6 is less than negative 1 and 1/6. Okay? For the second one I have, fill in the circle with less than, greater than, or equal to make 7/12 and 8/18 a true sentence. So the LCD of the denominators 12 and 18 is actually 36. So 12 times 3 gives me 36, and 18 times 2 gives me 36. So whatever I do to the bottom or denominator, I must do to the numerator of a number to make sure that they're equivalent fractions. So 7 times 3 gives me 21, and 8 times 2 gives me 16. Well, we can see now that they have the same denominator, 21 is bigger than 16. So that means 7/12 is greater than 8/18. Okay. In Mr. Hong's class, 20% of students own roller shoes. In Mrs. Trevino's class, 5 out of 29 students own roller shoes. In which class does a greater fraction of students own roller shoes? So I can express each number as a decimal and then compare. So 20% is 0.2 or 2/10 or 20 hundredths. Okay? 5 divided by 29 is 0.1724. So I can see that 0.2 is bigger than 0.1724, so that means 20% is greater than 5/29. Okay? The last one I have is order the set of 3.44 pi, 3.14, and 3.4 repeating from least to greatest. So the first thing I do is line up my decimal points and compare. So I have 3.44, and I added a 0 because I have 3.14, which takes me to 3 decimal places, which makes my life a little bit easier. 3.141 is actually what pi is approximated to. 3.14, again, I added a 0 at the end, and then 3.4 repeating is 3.444. So I have 4 decimal places. Okay, they all have a 3 in common, which means I need to go through and look at the numbers behind the decimal points. 440, 141, 140, and 444. Okay? 140 is the smallest. That means 3.14 is my smallest, and I can cross that out then. 3.141, or pi, is next. 3.440 is next, so 3.44. and then 3.4 repeating is my last one. All right, there are a couple of try problems out below. I want you to go ahead, pause the video, try them out, and when you're done, we'll go over the answers together. All right, now that you've had a chance to try out the try problems, let's go over the answers together. So the first one I have is fill in the circle with less than, greater than, or equal to make negative 5 5/9 and negative 5 1/9 a true statement. So looking at these, I can draw the number line between negative 5 and negative 6, and they're ninths. So this is negative 5 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, 4/9, negative 5 5/9, 6/9, 7/9, 8/9, and negative 6 would be 5 9/9. Okay? So I can see here's 5 1/9, here's negative 5 5/9. So that means negative 5 1/9 is bigger than negative 5 5/9. Because remember, anything closer to 0, I want it closer to 0 for negative numbers. So negative 5 5/9 is less than negative 5 1/9. Okay. Then I have fill in the circle with less than, greater than, or equal to make 5 6 and 7/9 a true sentence. So I have 5 6, 7/9. Okay. So their common denominator, they have a common denominator of 18. It's an LCD. Because I multiplied 6 times 3, which means I need to multiply 5 times 3, which is 15. And then 9 times 2 gave me 18, so 7 times 2 gives me 14. 15 is bigger than 14, so that means that's greater. So 5 6 is greater than 7/9. In a second period class, 37.5% of students like to bowl. In a fifth period class, 12 out of 29 students like to bowl. In which class does a greater fraction of students like to bowl? So 37.5% I can change to 0.375, and then 12 over 29, so 12 29ths, I can find 12 divided by 29 gives me 0.4137, and it keeps going. Okay. So I can see that 4.137 is bigger than 0.375. So that means 37.5% is smaller than 12 29. So the fifth period class, more students like to bowl in the fifth period class. Okay. Then I have order the set 23%, 0.21, 1/4, and 1/5 from least to greatest. So I'm going to write them all as decimals. 23% is 0.23. 21% is 0.21 is 0.21. 1/4 is 0.25, and 1/5 is 0.20 or 0.2. Okay. So we can see, looking at these, they all have 0, so we know that they're all very close together. So the smallest is 20, so that's 1/5. So it's 1/5. That one's gone. And then 0.21. Then it's 0.23, which is 23%. And then it's 1/4. You want to make sure that you put in the less than signs as well, or the greater than signs, whichever one it's asking you for. Right? And that is the end of chapter 4, lesson 2.